What is the definitive Austin Allegro? First, let's choose between Series 1, 2, and 3. The silvery Series 1, with those natty bits of chrome and a swirly font that says, "We think the Allegro is fun and special," is a car as yet unblemished by its future. On the other hand, Series 2 shares much of the Series 1's elegance, but has a ton of useful modifications it should have had in the first place. And the Series 2 typifies the Allegro's heyday, when more Allegros sold, but the line took on a generally more defeatist look of resignation and disappointment after the dreams of youth. Hence the Dial of Infinity, the cheapo grille, the lost legendary SS. And those saggy brown seats. Ugh.
Ugh, as if!
Ugh in a good way, of course. I'm messing with ya. Listen, you'd seriously choose the most developed and perfected Allegro, right? The culmination of years of whatever gentle investment British Leyland made and problems they fixed along the way.
And what we tried to find was ways in which a competitor, Volkswagen, say, had designed their product that was more cost-effective than the design that BL had, and at the same time better.
You were kind of like an industrial spy.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Well then, Series 3 has to be definitive. And then the engines. Which one of those are the real McCoy? The economical A series or the faster, more modern E series with the 5-speed gearbox, an obvious selling point?
Change up to top. Allegro has the room to spare. Allegro has the room to spare.
5-speed gearbox means it's a good cruiser.
Each engine makes its own case, and each variant of the same engine does too. So, whilst it's A series economy versus E series grunt, the A series 1100 compared with the A series 1300
It does hang about, I'll give you that.
or E series 1500
Today's classic is a Van den Pla 1500.
compared with 1750 is, again, thrift versus power.
How's that for a 70s British engineering?
Every engine in that Allegro series says, "I'm Spartacus," or Austin Allegro, if you will. What about specification? Do you bag a Van den Pla because it's the most majestic, well-appointed Allegro? The Allegro in its Sunday best? Or do you deluxe like common people? And should your Allegro's finish be Concord or Stonewash? Every Allegro has its claim to fame. And do you go for the saloon? You would think, but then the estate is very easy on the eye. Everyone at their Goldfish says the saloon should have been a hatchback.
It's a car with a blunt back end.
So you're saying we're after a hatchback?
Nobody says the Allegro estate should have been anything but what it was. Anyways, we have to narrow down, so let's start by making it clear that the Quartic steering wheel is so infamous, so emblematic of what Allegro is. I refer you to the name of the Allegro Owners Club magazine. Any definitive Allegro must have one, which means we go down the Series 1 route. By default, we also rule out the Van den Pla because it never had a Quartic steering wheel. In fact, it was never officially an Allegro. As for the estate, the Allegro is infamous for not being a hatchback, and supposedly the worse for it. One can't very well spoil things by having something that was near as damn it a hatchback as your definitive Allegro. The A-Series engine wins because it was the bigger seller, and I'm sure that the A-Series transmission whine is still whining somewhere inside the wizened minds of millions of folks. born before about 1980. And the 1300 is obviously more middling than the 1100 within the context of all the engine sizes available. An added bonus, if you go for the A series, you get the nicer gear change.
The gearbox is really smooth.
4-speed just feels more period than 5. Then it's a question of trim. Go for one above poverty spec because the commoner likes to feel his or her ride is a bit better than rock bottom. How about doors? My hands-down favorite is the 2-door, but most Allegro owners were family-oriented. So that's why the 4-door Austin Allegro 1300 Super Deluxe Series 1 is obviously the definitive Allegro. The fact that the gaffer here at Hello Allegro owns the definitive Allegro is a big weight to carry on his shoulders, and in no way affects the very fair and honest process by which this conclusion was obtained. Of course, his 1300 SDL has a modern radio. He's not a masochist.